Hey, we're back. It's another episode of Space-like Adventure. Huge episode for you today. We finally have the whole crew back together after Arlo being gone for a few weeks. Super excited to get into it. So in the last episode, the crew recovered from their encounter with the jumpsuited thugs. And just when they decided to follow the next lead, they were stopped by the leader of Tycho Station and the head of the OPA, Fred Johnson. And he wanted them to come to his office to explain what they'd been up to. So if you don't know The Expanse, Fred Johnson, huge, super important character. So he leads the OPA, but he's former Earth military. So it's a complicated situation. He thinks he doesn't have all the information, but he still does this thing. And from this point forward, he is known as the Butcher of Anderson Station. But so he leaves Earth Navy and he comes back as the head of the OPA, the faction that's all about the Belters getting independence. So he's a super important figure. He's essentially a head of state, and he has just become incredibly powerful after obtaining a bunch of nuclear missiles just after the Eros incident. All right, well, that's everything you need to know to get into today's episode, so let's get into it. So the drive plume on an engineering drone flickers to life in the weightlessness of space. It floats out from a chamber on the side of the outer ring of Tycho Station, and it fires a few short bursts and travels towards the shipyard, which at the moment is this vast empty space with a few smaller ships dotted around for repair. So missing from that space is the massive generation ship, the Nauvoo, which was just recently used as a missile to be thrown at the rogue space station Eros. So the five of you view this through a massive viewing window in the office of former Colonel Fred Johnson. So Fred Johnson is the head of Tycho Manufacturing and Engineering Concern, and he's the de facto leader of the Outer Planets Alliance, which, as you know, is part government, part navy, part pirate, and part terrorist. But Fred Johnson represents the government part. And he approached you as you guys left the ship with 10 armed security officers in tow, and he invited you to his office to speak. And when we join you, you're all seated around his desk as he begins to speak. He says, "Thank you for joining me in my office today. The reason I invited you to speak with me today is because I need your help."
Help with what exactly, Mr. Johnson?
You see, we've had some strange occurrences around the station lately. And until the five of you showed up, we haven't been able to make any sense of the situation. See, lately there's been problems with the station's security cameras, parts of the system being vandalized or hacked. And when station security goes to investigate, they invariably find nothing at all. So, that was, I guess, until last night. See, a section of cameras went down, and a team went out to investigate, and instead of the usual nothing, what did they find? They found a hangar filled with dead bodies, and, you know, they're all wearing those generic jumpsuits. And from there, I'm told the security, they followed a set of bloody footprints down an elevator that led straight to your ship. So, you can see how that's a little funny, right?
You sure your security detail didn't just massacre them?
And, like, put the bloody footprints down all the way to your ship, like some kind of... Are you saying you didn't do anything with this?
This is like a dilemma of how much do I want him to know. I mean, as you said, cameras are vandalized. No leads on. I mean, I'm sure cameras get vandalized all the time. What makes you interested in these ones?
Because they keep getting vandalized, and usually the security don't find anything. This time they found a bunch of dead guys, and then that led to you guys. So look, I remind you, I said that I need your help at the start of this. So it's not Don't have you. I'm not calling you on the carpet right now to bring you to charges or anything like that. I'm just. I need a hand.
Okay, and what is it we can help you with?
So you see, this kind of stuff it keeps happening, right? These these generic jumpsuits, they're showing up, causing all kinds of trouble. And as I say, every single time my security department goes to look for these things, they turn up nothing.
Do they keep getting vandalized in the same place, or are they in multiple places?
Multiple places. But you see, if I have a security team and they continually have a problem occurring, every single time they investigate, they find nothing, I have to start operating off of the assumption that that team has been compromised in some way.
That's fair. Are these outsourced security, or are they your own?
Look, the OPA is a distributed group. There's OPA and there's OPA, you see. And I have my agents who I would trust to the ends of this station. I would trust them anywhere. But there's no doubt there are elements within the OPA that I have no visibility on, no control over in any way, shape, or form. So you see, this is the first lead that I've seen on this at all. So something's happening here. These cameras getting vandalized, and that clearly the five of you are involved in some way. We don't just see a bunch of dead bodies rock up. It's rare.
You'd be surprised how common it is with the five of us together. We kind of just stumble into dead bodies a fair bit.
Okay, that's the kind of thing that I would like to know a lot more about.
It's one of those things, right? Like if I had a penny, every time I'd have 2 pennies, but that's still a lot more pennies than most people would have. It's not a lot, but it's still more than most.
There was 6 in the hangar.
I guess
so you got 6 pennies.
2 times 10 bodies. Yeah.
So more than 6, I see. Okay, cool. So, what do you guys know? What's happened here?
We were just making our way back after visiting a friend, and we stumbled. Well, not even stumbled. We were accosted and acted in self-defense.
Sure, yeah, it's fine. I get it. They attacked you. They're dead now.
They did.
They
did. There was viscera everywhere. Someone shot me, and Atea pulls off the part of her shirt where like the gunshot wound has been kind of sewn up. I've never been shot before, sir. Never.
But you killed all those other ones, so it seemed like you did okay.
No. Well, look, yeah, but you see, it was hey, so Flint and Mo, you guys, you saved the day, didn't you? And Trevor, you saved my life. And she's playing it up as if, she's
Really?
Oh, she's a damsel.
Who'd have thought?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
No, but you.
Would you like a glass of water or something? A nice pillow.
Yes. Look, the thought of it. Yes, please, a glass of water. And she like puts up her hand to her head, and she like falls back onto Flint. Oh, the trauma of it all. Oh, I can still feel the pain in my shoulder. And she does like a faint back into Flint.
Like, Flint will catch a tear and kind of stare blankly at Fred. Is it Fred Johnson? Yes, Fred. How do you sleep with yourself at not knowing that you were responsible for over 1,000 civilian deaths?
I think Atea's faint, fake faint. She looks up and like looks at Flint like aghast, like what? What?
I believe. Are you referring to? Sorry, what incident are you referring to, my friend?
Was there multiple incidents where that's occurred?
That's here you are questioning us about 6 bodies, and with that statement, that sounds like you've got a lot more.
My.
What I'm saying is, I've done some not so great things in my time and struggle sleeping at night, but the scale at which you've amplified that beyond the thousands, just interesting that you get up in the morning and can present yourself to people.
Oh my god, Flint.
I think he like looks at you quite hard and he's like, "It can be difficult." What incident are you referring to?
The butcher of Anderson Station.
Yes, that happened in my past, and I have many regrets about it, and I don't hide from it. It's true, it happened. You're a Martian, yes, Mr. Bancroft?
Yes, that's correct.
You're looking out for belters out there, are you?
Try to do my best to look out for everyone.
As do I. And I'm trying to make good for what I did in my past. And right now, I'm trying to protect a station that's filled with a lot of belters. So I just want to know, what's going on here? I need to know, is my security involved? More people, are they going to die? And we're not going to find their bodies. We're not going to know what happened to them. What have you seen?
All right, Mr. Johnson, it seems like we both have the same information here. We stumbled across something out in space. This has led to a series of events, and we are now investigating some disappearances.
You stumbled
Party.
across something out in space.
Yes.
Was it? Look, it didn't seem like any kind of science experiment, any kind of medical situation, anything like that, did it?
May have been.
If it was theoretically, what would you know about it?
I'd know quite a lot. It's not great. Was it weird what they were doing? Was it weird?
Define weird.
Like disturbing, uncomfortable, strange, crazy, making.
Very.
All of the
Weird
above.
stuff with the eyes.
Oh, they didn't not have any color in their eyes, did they?
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be the case.
And the ship was shot with a rail gun, with a rail slug as well.
Oh, that's good, at least. Oh, my God.
Yeah, but one survivor on board, obviously experimented on some sort of patient, uttered the word Pope before he died.
No, I think you misheard it.
I definitely said Pope.
No, I think you misheard it too.
No, he definitely said Pope.
Pope.
Yes,
Yeah, it was Pope.
It's sort of led us on a series of events that we started having a look, and I think we found a bit more than we were bargaining for. And some people have noticed, and hence your 6 dead bodies.
So I've seen this once before. See, after Protogen unleashed the proto-molecule on Eros, we found the location of the lab they were using to observe what had happened. We boarded the station that housed the lab, and we found them woefully unprepared for combat. They were armed with riot control equipment, rubber bullets, and despite our overwhelming advantage, the scientists in this facility attacked us ferociously. At many stages, despite us being in full military armor, they were coming at us with scissors. And in the aftermath of the battle, we found out why. So these scientists had all undergone a procedure that had modified their capacity to feel empathy. They were made into psychopaths. All so they could dissociate from the horrors that they were witnessing, the things that were happening on Aero Station. And in addition to that, the procedure, it made them insatiably curious. You can imagine. Perfect researchers. And it turns out that a side effect of this procedure is that they lose their eye color.
Right.
So this troubles me greatly, because you see, the balance of power has shifted. This whole protogen mess, you saw what happened on Eros, right?
Yeah.
Can you remind me?
He like taps away on his terminal for a little bit. And the viewing window behind you guys, it changes. In place of the Nauvoo is now the planet Venus from space. And he speaks again. Goes, we've all seen this footage. The moment Eros crash landed into Venus. So the footage flickers and the giant space station looms over the planet. And you've all seen this, but it never ceases to amaze, basically. What happens is both like beautiful and terrifying. The space station seems to like unfold before your eyes, breaking into its component parts and forming this like fleshy web that covers the entire planet and descends beneath the clouds of Venus.
I mean, truly a horrific event. That's a lot of lives and a lot of people that don't need to be involved in this conflict.
So there's one more thing to show you. Because we've all seen what the protomolecule can do. But have you seen how it does it? And he taps a key and the screen flickers again to some footage that you haven't seen. You see little snatches of footage here. It's like shambling people walking like zombies through Aero Station. They're like vomiting brown liquid on people screaming and running. And then the screen flickers again and there's like masses of bodies merging and changing as people moan and scream. And the screen flickers again and the moans have changed to this horrifying chorus. The whole landscape of the station has changed as the protomolecule takes the mass of the people it infected and turns them into a new creation. This is what the protomolecule does. This is why we took the Nauvoo. This is what Protogen unleashed upon the world, willingly. This whole mess was started by a corporation, unchecked power, taking huge risks, unchecked ambition. And now you're telling me that we're seeing the same medical procedure on another corporation with one of the most shadowy and reclusive figures in the entire solar system.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that seems bad. Really, really bad.
What are you suggesting about what corporation are you alluding to?
So
The boss is doing some bad stuff.
You can't. What was the corporation before doing? Who's to say it's not just that same corporation running around? You're just all of you are so quick to point fingers. You know, one person utters a word before they die, and suddenly the whole universe is against them. Look, this is this is truly horrifying, and I thank you for blessing my eyeballs with seeing that horrific stuff that has scarred my brain forever. But you can't just run around pointing fingers at anyone, especially not Sebastian Pope.
I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. That's what I'm asking you to do. I want you to find what's happening here. I want you to get to the bottom of this conspiracy. Find
You
out.
do sound
Maybe
like
it's
a
not
conspiracy
Sebastian
theorist.
Pope. Maybe it isn't. But maybe it is.
Mr. Johnson, does the phrase opal mean anything to you?
Not a thing.
Okay. It's come up a few times. And
Okay.
starting to think it has some connection to Pope and all of this mess.
All right.
If it did, I would have heard about it, Mo, and it doesn't. So just, you know what? You'd probably be great at this job because you're already a conspiracy theorist. You're already a nut job.
Might just cancel that glass of water that I was going to get you earlier. But
The attitude changes.
it's-
Now, I think that you deserve a bit of full disclosure here, Mr. Johnson. We were tasked by the Mormons.
the Mormons?
Well,
Why?
I mean, 2 of their Nauvoo scientists have gone missing. So it took them a bit of an interest. And then they started tallying up the Belters going missing. And trying to solve their own mystery, they looked outside for help. We were already on that path, and they went, hey, help us too.
Why did they came to you and not to station security? Why would they come to you?
They're
Security don't seem to be doing a lot.
yeah. And look, somehow, I feel like we're doing a better job.
You're definitely doing a better job than anyone I set out so far, that's for sure. Well, look,
We know that these people have been gone missing at docks where Pope Enterprises.
That's
haulers-
they were not. It was
Pope
a very
Enterprises haulers
they're
at docks.
they're Pope
Princess,
Enterprises.
shut it.
The way that we're Pope Enterprises, the way that I was sent down here because we're some subsidiary of some subsidiary, a company owned by another company.
Mr. Johnson,
Mr. Bancroft,
where was that footage taken that you showed us?
from the interior of the station, and I'm surprised that I forget that most of you weren't out in the belt during this time. Most of you were off doing your own things, but this is we raided the science post, right? The one where we found the psychopaths, and when we did it, we found that their feeds, their camera feeds, where they were collecting the scientific data from the station. Look, belters are going to be belters, so I didn't really, I wouldn't have done it myself, but people they started putting it out, they started remixing it, they started showing all the footage. It's like a whole music genre that's come. It's actually pretty good, if I'm being honest. It's good. It's like, it's what it's like. You're out here in the OPA, you're out here on the belt, and there's things that you would be like, you would never do that. You would follow protocol. You would do the right thing. But everybody knows now what that proto-molecule does. And it was the anonymous belters who just decided that they were going to broadcast it out to the world. So kudos to them, I guess. So that's the footage. It's you can find, no matter how many times the feeds get taken down, they just come back up again. Tough folk out here, Life's hard. Got to make light where you can.
So now we're already on a task for Mormons, and now you want us to do this for you as well.
Well, look, there's nothing, I guess, stopping you from still helping out the Mormons. So, look, all I need is information so I can act. Look, I need to be honest. Can we rewind a little bit? You said you saw a Pope Industries ship
No,
taking a guy.
it's
Who was the
not-
guy? Who got taken? Was this the Mormon scientist?
Dr.
Know that they've
Bragenheim
been-
Dr. Bragenholm.
and Dr. Mateo.
Pope Sanchez. Chips.
Which is a subsidiary. It's, again,
It
you
says
guys.
Pope in the name.
Yeah, but it's different, all right? We're,
It's the
we're
ma-
owned by Pope Industries.
You're very quick to defend a company that you
Yes,
have nothing
because
more to do with.
I worked for the company, and it's just nonsense. It's conspiracy theory.
The past tense is
crazy
the key word
talk.
there,
Did
princess.
you see the footage?
Yeah, I did. I'm not
happened.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying that I have worked under Pope Industries for most of my life, and this is all it just wouldn't happen. It couldn't happen under Sebastian's watch.
Princess, as you have said yourself, Pope is huge, and you could never know all of the bits and pieces of it.
And his daddy always says, French fries, mash, fried. At the end of the day, it all comes from the same potato. So
Well, actually, Flynn, I was going to ask
Good
you
man.
if we could just have a little bit of a group huddle. Actually, no, yeah, everyone. So, just huddle in. Weren't you saying before that the guy who's giving us this mission to take down a very respected and large company is maybe not a great guy?
yeah, I can attest to those comments. Yeah,
So,
I
do
still.
you have any... She's obviously like huddling in, trying to keep this a little bit away from this
I
guy.
mean, to be quite upfront with, I don't like the Mormons, but we seem to take a job with them.
No, I'm with you too on that, yeah.
He does kind of seem to have, although he's said some questionable comments, he seems to somewhat care about the Belters. And
Actually, on that note, Shrike. So, your sibling, right? Would this have anything to do with that situation? Like, I feel like maybe ever the rebellious spirit would maybe have more of a problem with this than even I would.
She's just kind of like staring at Ataya. I think she's been pretty quiet this entire time, and she just kind of like stares into her. It's like, I don't think you know that much about me. I could not care less, honestly. That was 2 years ago now. It's all of these ones have been fairly recent, so I want to think there's no connection. There very well could be, but I don't think there is.
But I mean, as a belter, don't you have a qualm with working for this guy?
No, I just have qualms in general about everything. But like he's just another guy.
All right, well, look. Do what you gotta do, I guess.
I think ultimately, Mr. Johnson, we're tracking down quite a large corporate entity who have everything at their disposal. We don't have a lot. We have, crazy corporate lady, ex-Martian pilot, washed out cop, angsty belter, and Trevor.
I just realized who you are. It's the blacksmith. What are you doing here? What the hell are you doing here? That's amazing. But I remember I saw you beat the Galactic Kid in 45. It was outstanding. What are you doing here? This is crazy. I thought you'd be a millionaire.
Was a millionaire.
Oh, like Rocky 4.
Yeah.
I don't know, Rockies, I just guessed. Is that the one where Rocky has trouble?
I think Rocky
I
has
think
trouble
that's
with all of
Rocky
them.
3.
Like Rocky 3.
Rocky 3, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It went down.
The blacksmith. My gosh.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I guess what I'm saying, Mr. Johnson, what protection can you afford us?
look, I'm not. I just want to say, I'm not trying to say you should stop your investigation. And I say, you say you're looking for this big corporate entity, but I must say, we don't know yet, right? there's still some guesses that are going on here. A guy said Pope, and someone else said Pope, and you saw a Pope Sanchez ship, which that feels pretty concrete, if I'm being honest. Like that is one of the bigger subsidiaries of Pope Industries. So that seems like a big leap, but you don't necessarily know what it is yet. So what I'm asking for you to do, don't go and try and take down the whole corporation. And he pulls out like a little listening device and he like slides it across the table and he gives it to you guys. And he says, get me some concrete information and I can act. Whoever the perpetrators are, I still think station security is mixed up in this in some way. I don't know if it's as big as what you're making it out, but I have to operate off the assumption that station security is compromised, and we also have to operate off the assumption that there's some kind of crazy medical conspiracy happening again, and we're going to have more proto-molecule nonsense going off.
Well, I guess this adds a bit of fuel to the fire, but I mean, Dr. Braggenholm and Dr. Mateo, whether you know this or not, were pretty crucial to life support systems on the Nauvoo.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so,
Good.
Very medical fields, both being taken.
Yeah, medical experts.
Crucial.
Yeah, no, that's good news. Good stuff. All right. Situation seems pretty bad, guys. I'm going to be honest here. It seems like this is close to one of my worst nightmares. So, I think don't go mix it up with the big time corporation immediately. Maybe let's find some more information. Let's bring it back to me.
Okay, Mr. Johnson. I guess we keep following our leads and keep you informed.
And it's safe to say you have the informal backing of myself, the head of the OPA.
Does that mean we get money?
If you deliver me this information and if we're able to get this problem solved, whoever the perpetrators are, as I say, if the station security, if it's this conspiracy, as long as we get to the bottom of who these jumpsuited figures are, then I will give you this amount of money. And he discloses amount of money that's like, so the Mormons offered you like 3 months of your salary to go to do the job for them. He's offered you about 1 month of your salary each to do this thing. So as I say, there's nothing to stop you from taking the money from him and also cashing in with the Mormons, because they're asking you to do different things really here. They want you to find the scientists, and then you guys are going to look for the belters as well. He wants you to figure out what's going on with the jumpsuited people. So they're two, it's like a quest and a side quest in a video game, if you will. But they're very close to each other.
Someone update the quest book.
Yes, please.
All right, I think
Do we have a deal?
everyone on board.
Excuse me, sir. Could I have just a private word with you just for a moment?
Gets a big broad smile and he goes, took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh. Cool. So it seems like maybe you wanted to have a word with me, so do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
So yeah, sure. I do my research, and the rest of the crew all check out. They've taken a look at the systems in the station, all the normal public records. But you're a bit different. We don't see too many people out here who used to work in communications in an Earth corporation. All the way out here in the belt on an ice hauler. What you doing out here?
Yep. Working hard. You know how it is. Look, it's no secret. I am on a special directive from the very top to check in on these sub assets that we have out here,
Okay. Well, you see, the reason I pulled you aside is, as I say, we don't run into too many folks with, corporate comms experience that's quite useful.
It is, yeah.
Seems like you might have spun out into a bit of a weird dead end. I could use someone like you in the OPA. Would you be interested? Someone with real corporate experience. I could know how they operate, and they're obviously a big problem. We need to work against them. So someone like you could be like a double agent type of thing. Wouldn't that be good?
Sorry. Who work against who?
The folks like Protogen, who were doing those horrible things that I showed you just before.
No, absolutely. Yeah, standing against evil out in the world, I think that's a valiant thing.
And I'm offering you a chance to be a part of it.
I will consider your offer.
Well, look, let me tell you how I see this, right? So, you've been chewed up.
She's being sold a home share.
You've been spat out by Pope Industries. They've dumped you out here, nowhere. Job that's going nowhere. Some kind of punishment. This is what they do to people. They use them until they're broken. But at the OPA, we look after people. Come see me when all this is done. Let's talk.
Well, firstly, how I appreciate that you have an opinion to share, but I'm not spat out. I am on a direct order from Sebastian Pope to be here. And look, I appreciate your offer, and look, if things miraculously, explosively change and somehow the universe is turned inside out, and I am desperate, maybe then I would consider it. I wasn't gonna, I was gonna ask you to, I was gonna ask if you knew anyone in Pope Industries that I might be able to contact. But now I think that maybe you don't know anyone at all, really, and maybe you're just an opinionated war criminal. So, look, I appreciate your offer of charity. I appreciate your offer, but trust me, I will not be taking it up. And in the wild world, when I do, I will have fully given up on everything. So, thank you, and I will consider it.
Sure. The door's always open to you. So, he looks over to Shrek, and he says, "My friend, you haven't spoken so much. You're letting the inners speak the entire time." And he uses some belter slang with like no sense of awkwardness.
I think it's obvious that doesn't know whether or not she should say this, but she goes, it's just my sister used to work with you, like under your branch, and for
OPA?
a while, yeah, OPA Navy.
Navy.
Yeah. For a while, I really believed in what you guys were doing, but I don't know if I do anymore, and it's hard not to have something to believe in, you know. It's and she just kind of like waves herself off. She's like, it's just,
Yeah.
figuring stuff out, sort of thing.
Her name. What was her name?
She kind of like, her name was Cassie, Cassiopeia. Oh no, actually, they called her Cassowary for some reason, but I have her, and she kind of like, again, she pulls out that dog tag and then she tucks it back in.
He goes, OPA Navy. It's so, as I said, the OPA is distributed. So people act independently, and the Navy especially is very much beholden to the captain of the ship. So I don't know everyone's movements, and I rely on the folks that I do know. Do you know the name of the ship that she was flying on?
like she doesn't want, like, it's obvious, you know, she didn't want to be that. I was like, do I remember? It's the Tynan. The Tynan?
The Tynan.
Tynan. Mm.
Wow. Good and bad news. Good news is I know the captain quite well. Great, great man. Clace Ashford is his name. They're missing. The ship is missing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were telling me something else. Yeah, I knew
Yes,
that.
sorry.
Whew.
I could have phrased it better. I
You
apologize.
definitely could have, actually. You
Yeah.
made me very nervous.
Sorry. It's
Yeah.
So I have people looking for the Tynan right now. There's quite an important mission that I need Clace to take. So we're trying to find it, but you know, perhaps you don't. There's these folks, they disappear for long stretches of time, and they're doing missions that, some would call salvage, some would call piracy. It's complicated.
It's the lines get blurry.
You have to stay alive at the end of the
Yeah,
day is what you have to do. And if they're not making space for you, then you've got to make space for yourself, is what I always say. So, look, I'll find out what I can about your friend. But
Sister?
Look, sorry, yes, your sister, I apologize. So, look, don't lose faith in the OPA. This is the time, now is the time that we are the strongest that we have ever been. We have a seat at the table for the first time. I have a whole slew of nuclear missiles that are at the disposal of the OPA. Our position is the strongest it's ever been. And I finally have a seat on the table. And I know there's some confusion. I know there's some feelings about me being an inner. But I'm acting in the best way that I can. And they let me in. The inners let me in a way that they don't let other belters in. So hang on to the hope.
And she kind of nods and she goes, yeah, she used to say that all the time about you. You know, I mean, no offense, you're just another guy to me. I mean,
Fair
it's a
enough.
war criminal. I mean, who isn't nowadays, you know?
Tell me about it. There seems to be more and more every day. More
tell me
court
about it.
martials constantly.
She kind of goes, yeah, I'll consider it, maybe. But, thank you.
Thank you. Right, and then he sort of pulls back to you all and he says, so this is what I'm asking for you guys to do. Will you do this for me?
Mate, we're on it. I don't like a bunch of penguins at a fresh fish convention. Wait.
Someone has to clear Pope Industries' names, so I'm in.
No one better than you.
We're all in for our own reasons, I think.
Good luck.